Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I already discussed about Laravel route. In this video, I will discuss about the controller. What is controller and how can create the controller? First of all, what is the controller? In MVC pattern rule, there have no such direct path in model to view or view to model. For that reason, they need one intermediate media, and this intermediate media is controller. So now let's get started with the code. For finding out the controller, you have to go to the app, and into the app there is HTTP, and into the HTTP you can see there is a controller. So when we install that Laravel, we get by default one of the controllers. So that is a controller.php, and that is a auth. So right now I want to create another new controller. So right now we don't need this, I remove it. We also don't need this, I remove it. Okay. So right now I want to create another controller. For creating the controller, you have to go to that directory. So that is our main directory. In particular, that position I just define as a CMD. And into the CMD, you have to write down as a PHP artisan, then make and controller, and then you have to define your controller name. For educational purpose, here I am creating one of the controller name as a student controller. I am defining as a student controller. Now if you click on the enter, and now here you can see it's now showing as a controller created successfully. So now if you go to our directory, that means here there is a HTTP, there is a controller, and in the controller here you can see there is a student controller is now created. Now into this controller here, first of all, there is a namespace. A namespace is one of the virtual directory, and there is a use the request. So that is actually one of the class. So if you want to access some of the class, then you have to use it. So here with the illuminate and the HTTP, and that is a request. So that is actually one of the by default class is using on particular that position. And then our controller name, that is our student controller that I created, and it's extended with the Laravel default controller as a controller. In our previous video, I already created one of the route. Like here you can see there is a get route, and now there is our home route. Now I want to load our welcome page, that means in our view. So that is our welcome page, I want to load it. So here you have to defining as your controller name. So right now I already created one of the controller as this one. For now I just copy it, and now here I just define that our controller name on particular that position. And into this controller I have to create one of the method. So now I want to create one of the method as the index method. So here I just defining as the index. Now this method I have to create in our student controller, that means here. So in particular that position I want to create one of the method as a public, and then function, and here I just defining the index method. So here that is our index method, and in particular that position I want to return that view. So here I just defining as a return. Okay, return, and then view, our view URL I have to assign it. So our page is in our view, and that is a welcome page. So right now I want to defining that things on here. So that is a welcome. So I just defining as a welcome page on particular that position. And now if you click on the save all, like here I just click on the save all, and now if you refresh that page, like here, now I want to access our home directory, and now click on the enter. Yes, now you can see it's perfectly loaded successfully. So how the things exactly work? Like here in our web route, here that is for the home route. In our home route, I created one of the controller, and I created one of the method. And in our home controller, I created that method as an index method. So into this index method, I just simply return that page. Okay, so for the reasons, it's now automatically loaded when you access the home route. That means the home URL. So in Laravel, you can create controller with two different way. I already discussed about one thing, that is the one of the method of the PHP artisan make controller and the student controller. And also if you want to create some of the resourceful controller, you can also do that work. For doing this, you have to write down as a PHP artisan, and then make, and I just defining as a controller. And now I want to create one of the test controller. Now here I just defining one of the test controller, and now I want to create one of the resourceful controller. For doing this, you have to put the space, then double line, and here you have to define the resource. Okay, I just defining the resource, and now if you click on the enter, Now you can see it's now created the controller created successfully. And now if you go to our controller area, now you can see that is actually a test controller. And into the test controller here, you can see by default, all that code method is available on here. Like that is for the index method is automatically created. That is the create method is created. So that is the our store method is created. If you want to show it, if you want to edit, that is the edit method is also created on here. That is the update method and there is a destroy method. So all that method automatically created when you actually create one of the resourceful controller. Rather than you have to write down every controller as your own, like before in our student controller here I created one of the simple controller. For the reasons here I created that things. Okay, that means the index method. So here is by default automatically ready-made all the things. Like if you want to actually create another route, I will show you. Like here I just copy it, and now I want to create another one. Like here I just defining as a test, and now I want to access one of the another controller, like there is a test controller. So for now I just copy it, and in particular that position I just defining as a test controller. And in our test controller now I want to access the index method. So now I want to do like here in our index method, that means here that is our test controller index method. In particular that position, first of all I want to display some of the message. Like here I just defining as echo, and here I just defining as a this is just for test page. So this type of one of the text I want to visible. Like if you now click on the save all, and now if you want to access this route, that means this one. So now let's check this out, what exactly happened. Like here that is our home, and after that I just defining as a test, and if you click on the enter, yes, now you see it's now redirected to our this message. That means this is the just for the test page. So I hope it should be very much clear to you about the route and the controller. So that is our route, and here I just defining one of the controller name. In our controller here I just defining one of the index method, and into the index method here I just defining one of the echo. So I hope you can well understand about it, how can create two different type of controllers. So that is the resourceful controller and that is our simple controller. So you can do that work with using that command line. So that is a PHP artisan, and that is simple, and that is for the resources. In our next video I will discuss about the model, how can create the model and how can migrate it. In our next video I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.